Of all my travels within the Central East Coast, not once did I stop in Maryland. Starting today, we are going to change that and start with the Valley Mall in Hagerstown, Maryland. Can it adapt to changing times? Let's step inside and find out. Valley Mall would begin life in 1974 as the sister mall to Fredericktown Mall, both of which were built by Shopko Development based out of New York. 90 inline stores would grace the mall's interior, alongside a JCPenney, Montgomery Ward, and an Early's, alongside the junior anchors, McCrory's, a Pantry Pride grocery store, a 3-screen Carmike Cinema, and a People's Drug. Many changes would occur at the mall as time progressed. Early's would become Bon-Ton, and the mall would boast a partial second floor for a time. However, a renovation would occur in the 1990s, removing the second floor. The 90s would also see People's Drug and McCrory's close down and become smaller inline shops, while Pantry Pride would close, being replaced by a store called Martin's, which later moved away from the mall to be replaced by the now defunct Toys R Us. 1999 would see the expansion of the mall, a new wing opening to bring forth a food court, an Old Navy, and a Hecht's. The 3-screen cinema would then be replaced by a 16-screen multiplex theater. This showed that the mall was proving to be healthy, although it would face some hurdles starting in the 2000s. 2001 would see Montgomery Ward close, but this would be addressed as Sears came to the rescue in 2003. Hecht's, as we all know by now, would be rebranded by Macy's upon acquisition in the mid-2000s. Overall, the mall survived rather well through this, but would face an increasing number of hurdles in the 2010s. 2016 would see Macy's close at the mall, followed by Sears in 2017. Then, in 2018, Bon-Ton closed as the lease expired. Things were seeming bleak for the Valley Mall until in 2017, it was announced that the vacant Macy's would be subdivided to be filled with a Tilt Studio arcade and a One Life fitness gym. And in 2018, Belk announced its plans to come to Valley Mall and accompany JCPenney. With the closure of Belk in Morgantown, West Virginia, Hagerstown would hold the northernmost Belk store in the chain. As of now, it does appear that the Valley Mall is capable of adapting to changing markets and remains a destination. There is quite a bit of charm to the mall, and to see it doing well is a good refresher. Again, dead malls can get pretty depressing after a while, so it's good to break up the pattern every once in a while. This mall has been on my radar for quite a bit, and I just couldn't resist giving this place a visit when I went to Chambersburg Mall. Now, before we go further, let me remind you that this was filmed in November, so don't act too surprised about the Christmas displays. It's overall surprising to see Belk move up here to the Valley Mall, but that is a great plus for the mall. Belk is known for good customer service and having good merchandise, and even offer services to the towns that they're in. If Belk can establish a good customer base within Hagerstown, then this would be a great asset for the Valley Mall. And here before Belk is this rather simple fountain. Simple, but elegant. Now, I didn't mention this in the history summary at the beginning, but Valley Mall is currently owned by the Pennsylvania Real Estate Investment Trust, or PREIT for short. Man, that name is a mouthful. I don't know exactly when Preet acquired the mall, but I would suspect that it was in the early 2000s. But again, I don't know for sure, so we won't dwell too much on it. All in all, occupancy is pretty solid at the mall. I'm still not fond of the kiosks cluttering the walkways, but other than that, inline spaces are, for the most part, filled. Some of these stores do look pretty large, like they may have been multiple inline shops, but I suppose that's one way to bolster your numbers. If they're doing well, then I can't really fault the developers for doing it. And then, Sears. Well, Seared. Recently, Sears just got approved for bankruptcy protection, so I guess Sears is still here to stay. For now, at least. The world's slowest liquidation sale refuses to quit. I do believe this is the expansion wing, which is doing well, surprisingly. Usually at malls that got an expansion, the newer part of the mall tends to be dead or dying, and in some cases, I've seen them get closed off or demolished completely. Not here at Valley Mall. Seems that food court and multiplex cinema is doing wonders for the mall. Macy's closing down was a bit of a curveball, but at least management has addressed this issue by attracting a tilt studio and a gym. Another SUV for a raffle car? Seriously? Well, I guess it's better than those giant trucks that blast unburnt fuel into the faces of little kids. Someday, I gotta go spend an hour over at Tilt Studio. Stop dead mauling, put the camera away, and just have some fun. But today is not that day. And then the hallway leading to the cinema, which has an interesting green glow about it. And now the food court, which does have some decent occupancy, and even some pretty good variety of foods to pick from. It does make sense to have the food court by the theater, as you can get lunch or dinner while waiting for a movie, or maybe after you've just seen the movie. As we begin the walk back to where we came in through, I should mention one problem with this mall. This mall is doing great and it's going strong, but its one problem is JCPenney. JCPenney, as of late, has been suffering from a bit of an identity crisis. They've been having to remove merchandise from their stores because it simply just wasn't selling. And to cover losses, there's talks of more store closures happening. So management, if you're watching, I would advise keeping an eye on JCPenney. There is always the chance of them surviving, but at the same time, there is the chance that they might cease operations in Hagerstown. While here, I did have a bit of a brain fart. I went into JCPenney to get a new pair of pants, because I kinda needed it, and went into the fitting room to make sure they fit before I paid up. I decided to do a bit of movie magic where I'd change between the pair of pants. This probably won't make it to the video, but when I went to pay, I wound up leaving the GoPro inside the fitting room. And I realized this the moment I set foot outside of JCPenney. I was able to recover the GoPro with little incident, but man, I probably broke the speed limit walking back to that fitting room. Anywho, we're just about done touring the Valley Mall in Hagerstown, Maryland. If you enjoyed the video, do toss me a like or comment down below. If you didn't like the video, tell me what you didn't like. If you want to mock me for my oopsie, then you can come join the Dead Mall's Discord server, where you can mock me or talk to many other creators. too many to name. Seriously, come join us. We have plenty of people for you to speak to. Just verify a few questions with the admins there and they'll get you all set up. Until next time, this is Doomie Grunt, wishing you and the Valley Mall farewell and good luck.